Something happened to Alexandru Sift on an August afternoon in 1968. He walked into a forest just outside Cluj-Napoca, Romania, pointed his camera at the tree line, and pressed the shutter. What came out of that film would be reprinted in paranormal journals for decades. Not a blurred shape, not a smudge. A figure, pale and still, standing in the shadows between the trees. Sift, a Romanian biologist and one of the first serious researchers to study this place, never fully explained it. Neither has anyone else since. The forest is called Hoia-Baciu. It sits less than 3 kilometers west of Cluj-Napoca, a modern city of over 300,000 people. On a map, it looks ordinary. About 250 hectares of mixed woodland, close enough to the city that families hike there on weekends. There is a biking park inside it now. Areas for paintball, airsoft, archery. The open-air section of the Ethnographic Museum of Transylvania borders its edge. It sounds like a pleasant Sunday afternoon. And then people start talking about what happens when you walk too deep in. Electronics stop working. Not occasionally. Repeatedly, and specifically in one area near the center of the forest. Cameras drain or malfunction. Compasses spin without settling. Phones lose signal or shut off entirely. Visitors have reported this since at least the 1960s, and the reports have not stopped. In 2014, a team from the Romanian Society for Parapsychology documented equipment failures during a field investigation near the circular clearing at the forest's heart. The clearing itself is strange. Trees grow all around it, but inside that rough circle, almost nothing grows. The soil is not obviously different to the eye. The clearing simply sits there, open and quiet, and researchers keep coming back to it. But equipment failure is only the beginning. Keep that detail in mind because the next category of reports is harder to dismiss with a simple explanation. Missing time. Visitors have described walking into the forest in the afternoon and emerging what felt like minutes later to find that hours had passed. A shepherd, according to one of the oldest stories attached to this place, walked into Hoia-Baciu with a flock of 200 sheep. Neither he nor the sheep were ever seen again. No remains. No explanation. That story's old and unverified, but it gave the forest part of its name. Hoia is believed by some local historians to derive from a Romanian word for shepherd. The forest remembered what happened before anyone wrote it down. And then there are the physical effects that witnesses describe on their own bodies. Rashes appearing without contact with plants. A sudden burning on the skin. Nausea, disorientation, and a deep, sourceless anxiety that some visitors describe as a feeling of being watched from every direction at once. Adrian Patrut, a Romanian professor of chemistry at Babes-Bolyai University in Cluj-Napoca, has investigated reports at the site and noted that the psychological effects on visitors are consistent and unusually uniform, meaning many different people, arriving separately, describe nearly identical sensations in nearly identical locations. That pattern is harder to ignore than any single ghost story. Now, here is where the science enters, and it does not make the story simpler. One of the leading geological explanations for the equipment failures involves underground electromagnetic anomalies. Romania sits on complex tectonic geology, and certain forested zones in Transylvania show measurable fluctuations in the local magnetic field. These fluctuations can interfere with compass readings and, in some conditions, affect electronic devices. Infrasound, which is sound below the frequency of human hearing, has been proposed as a cause for the anxiety, nausea, and the eerie feeling of a presence. Infrasound at around 18 to 19 Hz can cause vibration in the human eye, which some researchers believe may produce visual disturbances at the edge of vision. Victor Tandy, a researcher at Coventry University in the United Kingdom, published findings on infrasound and its effects on human perception in the Journal of the Society for Psychical Research in 1998. The forest environment, specific tree densities, underground voids, or running water beneath the soil can all act as natural generators of infrasound. As for the clearing where nothing grows, soil analysis has shown elevated heavy metal concentrations in samples from similar dead zone areas in Romanian forests. Whether that applies to Hoia-Baciu's specific clearing has not been conclusively published in peer-reviewed literature. That gap matters. It means the explanation exists, but has not been proven for this exact location. Sift's photograph still has no accepted explanation. The figure, the rashes, the missing time reports, the spinning compasses in a forest where families now rent bikes on a Saturday morning. That contrast is part of what makes Hoia-Baciu genuinely unsettling. It is not abandoned. It is not sealed off. You can walk in right now. The forest simply does not seem to behave like other forests, and scientists, paranormal investigators, and curious visitors have been trying to understand why since at least 1968, with no clean answer yet on the table. The truth, as of today, is that nobody knows. The electromagnetic anomaly theory is plausible. The infrasound theory is testable. The photograph has never been proven a fake and has never been explained. And somewhere inside 250 hectares of woodland next to a perfectly normal Romanian city, a clearing sits open and empty, and the trees around it grow just fine. If you want to keep following the stories that do not have easy endings, subscribe to Wanderlore. There are more places like this one, and some of them are far stranger.